Welcome back to our daily soap update channel, where we bring you the most passionate and detailed discussions about your favorite daytime dramas. Today is a wonderfully bright day, perfect for diving deep into the shadowy and thrilling world of Port Charles. Let us jump right into the heart of the latest mysteries and romantic entanglements that are keeping us all on the edge of our seats. I must admit, having watched this remarkable television program for more decades than I care to count, I feel a profound connection to these characters, especially the younger generation who have grown up right before my eyes. Jocelyn is one of those fascinating young women who has evolved from a fiery teenager into a formidable adult navigating the treacherous waters of the intelligence community. However, her transition into the highly secretive world of the agency has not been without its immense personal costs, particularly in the realm of romance. It seems that ever since she took the oath to serve and protect, her love life has been a tragic string of misconnections and forced separations. The sheer bad luck she has experienced in matters of the heart is enough to make any longtime viewer sigh in frustration, as we all simply want to see her find a stable partnership amidst the chaos of her professional obligations. To truly understand the current predicament, we must look back at the events that transpired roughly 8 months ago, a period that remains vividly etched in my memory due to the intense emotional stakes involved. Jocelyn had finally found a genuine connection, a true meeting of the minds and hearts with her fellow operative, Vaughn. Their chemistry was palpable, radiating through the screen and offering a glimmer of hope that she could balance her demanding career with a fulfilling personal life. But as we all know, happiness in Port Charles is often fleeting, especially when authoritative figures like Jack are pulling the strings. Jack, acting as the ultimate enforcer of the agency's draconian policies, maintained an absolutely inflexible stance against internal fraternization. His strict no-dating rule was not merely a suggestion, it was a mandate enforced with an iron fist, completely disregarding the natural human emotions that inevitably develop. I can still recall the sheer heartbreak of the moment Jack discovered their carefully concealed romance. It was a scene fraught with tension, the kind of dramatic confrontation that reminds me why I have dedicated so much of my life to following this series. Jack did not hesitate for a single second. He immediately ripped the young lovers apart, demonstrating a chilling lack of empathy for their feelings. By swiftly reassigning Vaughn to a distant and undisclosed mission, Jack effectively extinguished the flame of their burgeoning relationship before it could fully mature. The abruptness of Vaughn being sent away left a lingering sense of unresolved business, a dangling thread in the grand tapestry of the narrative that I always knew the writers would eventually have to weave back into the main storyline. It was a harsh reminder of the sacrifices demanded by their chosen profession, leaving Jocelyn to carry on with her duties while nursing a broken heart. Fast forward to the present day, and the situation has morphed from emotionally tragic to physically terrifying for our dear Jocelyn. In a twist that sent chills down my spine, she has been mercilessly abducted by the ever-sinister Cassius. The sheer audacity of this kidnapping plot is a testament to the enduring danger that surrounds anyone connected to the major families of this town. Currently, she is being held against her will within the cold, foreboding stone walls of Windermere. The Gothic isolation of that sprawling estate serves as the perfect chilling backdrop for her captivity. As a viewer, I feel a deep sense of anxiety watching her languish in that fortress, completely cut off from the outside world, her family, and her allies. The brilliant portrayal of her plight by Eden truly captures the essence of a strong woman temporarily subdued by overwhelming malevolent forces, making the anticipation of her eventual rescue all the more palpable. What makes this current storyline so incredibly frustrating yet undeniably compelling is the dramatic irony of Jocelyn's complete ignorance regarding the developments occurring just across the harbor. While she is trapped in the oppressive gloom of Windermere fighting a psychological battle against Cassius, she has absolutely no idea that her former flame, Vaughn, has finally returned to town. This disconnect is a classic narrative device that never fails to heighten the emotional stakes. I often find myself wanting to reach through the television screen to warn her, to give her that tiny shred of hope that someone from her past, someone who once cared for her deeply, is breathing the same air in the same city. The tragedy of her isolation is magnified by the fact that if she were free, this could be the exact moment of joyful reunion we have all been waiting for over the past 8 long months. But why, you might ask? Has Vaughn chosen this precise moment to resurface? The answer lies in the complex web of international intrigue that constantly entangles our beloved characters. Vaughn has been dispatched back to the city specifically to manage a severe crisis brewing within the agency, a situation deeply intertwined with the unpredictable actions of Jason and the always calculating Valentine. The involvement of heavyweights like Jason and Valentine guarantees that Vaughn is stepping into a highly volatile environment, one where a single misstep could have catastrophic global consequences. As an avid follower of these espionage storylines, I find the intersection of these specific characters to be utterly fascinating. Vaughn is not merely returning for a romantic stroll down memory lane. He is here on strictly official business, tasked with untangling a mess that pushes any personal desires firmly into the background. I must address a concern regarding the actor, Bryce. Recent leaks and rumors have suggested that his return to the screen will be painfully brief, perhaps lasting only a mere 2 episodes before his character is once again whisked away to parts unknown. Initially, this information felt like a tremendous letdown, a cruel tease by the writers who know exactly how much we desire a proper resolution to his history with Jocelyn. Will this fleeting appearance be enough to satisfy our narrative cravings? I quickly resolved this doubt in my own mind by recognizing the established patterns of daytime television. A 2-episode arc is rarely the end of a story. Rather, it is usually a strategic reintroduction, a way to test the waters and plant the seeds for a much larger, more explosive storyline down the road. We must view this brief visit as a tantalizing appetizer. One of the most crucial elements of this unfolding drama is a significant change in the agency's leadership dynamics. The oppressive shadow of Jack, which previously smothered any chance of romance, has finally been lifted. Jack is no longer in the picture, and his absence removes the primary obstacle that forced Jocelyn and Vaughn apart in the first place. Without Jack breathing down her neck and threatening her career at every turn, Jocelyn theoretically possesses the freedom to pursue whatever and whomever she desires. This newfound liberty is a massive shift in her character's trajectory. It means that the external barriers to their love have crumbled, leaving only the internal, emotional hurdles to overcome. If she can survive her current ordeal with Cassius, she will emerge into a world where she is no longer forbidden from loving a fellow operative, a prospect that fills my seasoned viewer's heart with immense optimism. This brings me to my deepest hope for the future of this storyline. A hope I believe is shared by many who have invested their time and emotions into this program. I firmly believe that this remarkably short visit by Vaughn is merely the prologue to a much grander romantic epic. The writers are incredibly adept at playing the long game, and it would be a monumental waste of established chemistry to simply have him pass through without a meaningful interaction. While Jocelyn's current captivity at Windermere might prevent an immediate, tearful reunion, the sheer fact that Vaughn is reestablishing his presence in her orbit is a highly promising sign. I am convinced that they are laying the groundwork for a spectacular rekindling of their agency romance, a reunion that will be all the more satisfying because of the immense trials and tribulations they have both endured during their enforced separation. However, my many years of analyzing the intricate plots of this show have taught me to always look for the hidden dagger, the ulterior motive that turns a simple love story into a complex thriller. What if Vaughn's intentions are not entirely pure? What if this crisis involving Jason and Valentine is merely a convenient cover for a much darker, more calculated agenda? As I ponder this, a chilling thought crosses my mind. Perhaps Vaughn is utilizing his return to assert control not just over the fractured agency, but over Jocelyn herself. The intelligence community is a breeding ground for manipulation and deceit, and it is entirely plausible that Vaughn has returned with a strategic plan to leverage his past relationship with Jocelyn to consolidate his own power. This potential betrayal of trust would add a layer of psychological complexity to their dynamic that is both horrifying and utterly captivating to contemplate. If this theory holds true, and Vaughn is indeed harboring secret calculations regarding Jocelyn and the agency's resources, then we are on the precipice of an incredibly explosive narrative arc. Imagine the sheer devastation Jocelyn will feel if she escapes the clutches of Cassius, only to discover that the man she once loved, the man she thought might be her sanctuary, is actually playing a high-stakes game of chess with her life and career as the pawns. Will she recognize his manipulation before it is too late? I believe she will, for Jocelyn has grown far too intelligent and battle-scarred to be easily fooled twice. This impending clash between lingering romantic feelings and harsh, manipulative reality promises to deliver some of the most intense and riveting television we have seen in years. It transforms a simple reunion into a dangerous dance of power, trust, and betrayal. The beauty of this potential conflict lies in how it will force Jocelyn to further evolve as a character. She is no longer the naive young woman who can be easily swayed by a handsome face and a badge. Her harrowing experience as a captive of Cassius is undoubtedly hardening her resolve, sharpening her survival instincts, and teaching her to trust no one implicitly. When she finally crosses paths with Vaughn again, whether he is her savior or a new adversary disguised as an old lover, she will approach the situation with a newfound caution. I am incredibly eager to see how she navigates this treacherous emotional minefield. Furthermore, the ripple effects of this complicated dynamic will undoubtedly wash over the rest of the town. If Vaughn attempts a power grab within the agency, using Jocelyn as a stepping stone, he will inevitably draw the ire of her fiercely protective family and friends. The writers have masterfully positioned all the pieces on the board, and the resulting collisions are guaranteed to be spectacular.